What is going on, guys? This is going to be Dark with a little review of the custom Mythic Legions hybrid, I guess, character that I've been customizing here for a little bit. He's been done for a little over a month. I just haven't gotten around to making a video of him, really. So I call him the Crown's Blades, or the Crown's Hand. So alongside him, I was kind of crafting a couple of other characters that they're not quite out yet, but the basic concept is I'm a big like Dark Souls fan. I'm a big video game fan, so I'm trying to think of how, if your character were to pass away or die, how would the not only the respawn mechanics but the actual mechanics around your healing factor and things like that are going to interplay with your character. So the big reason that I actually jumped into the Mythic Legions line was the compatibility between, the old EverQuest games that I played, Diablo, Baldur's Gate, like all of these other games that were really huge on my childhood have infested my brain with all kinds of different custom ideas that I've had for fantasy characters, and I really haven't found any line besides the Mythic Legions line that have done anything progressive with the fantasy line in a very long time. Of course, there's like Figma, but the realism beyond those is a little bit different. But besides me babbling, we'll actually take a look at the character here. So if you can, see if you've ever collected the Mythic Legions line or what have you, he is going to be on what is considered the 2.0 body. So basically, the difference between 1.0 and 2.0 being they're a little bit larger in scale. So I can push him aside just a little bit so you can get a squeeze at. I also, thanks to all of the different heads, all of the different, customizers and reviewers in the community and everything, you guys have got me to buy so many different characters. One of my favorites being Calavius or Calavius here, which I am turning into a bad guy, but we'll go ahead and take a look at him later. When it comes to the 1.0 versus 2.0, I prefer 2.0 when it came to building my first couple of customs, just due to I'm a skinny guy. I'm a little bit shorter than average, so of course you want to personify yourself on occasion. But I'm a big fan of mixing scales, so I have found a lot of success with the boss fight studios, not only the weaponry, so take a look at the nice axe. This is going to be from a builder kit, so I did paint this. I put some brown, some steel, some Nuln oil, dyed it down a little bit. Nice little axe. And then this character individually, his name is Athimos, so means crestfallen. Of course, if you're a Dark Souls fan, you're going to get that there. And then his companion here, of course, she is in a cage, but that might be for her own protection rather than anybody else's. So I did attach almost like a bread tie, but it's like leather wiring type. So that on there just equips him straight to the belt. And this is Enion, which means spark, flame, like attitude, like some kind of revolt, like awakening is some of the synonyms. So excuse me while I try to pop the Faerie out here. So of course it's not too much different. I really didn't do too much to her. Originally, the Faerie that comes with the Boss Fight Studios Darsalk is blonde. I just wanted to modify her a little bit, so I just added some black Abaddon black paint to the top of her head. So, and those two just go together. It does take a little bit of prying to get it out of there, but once you get it, it's relatively simple. But behind a camera, of course, is a whole other thing. And then also homie's healing, which would of course be the potion. So potion, pretty much the same thing. It's almost like leather bread tie that I found, and then just the red Darsal potion. So, figured that was alright. And if you notice, his build altogether is going to be a little bit different than what you would see on any of like the Mythic Legions 2.0 characters as far as the arms go, at least. So thanks to being in the Cabal, which is a Facebook page, which is full of amazing customizers and just people to have on your team when it comes to, you know, just collecting or customizing or what have you. So I went ahead and found out that on occasion, the 2.0 like torsos are compatible with the articulated icons arms. So that works out for me because I'm a big articulation junkie, and coming into the Mythic Legions line, you really realize that there's a lot of singles in the elbow, a lot of single joints rather, in the elbows as well as the knees and other things like that. And you can get away with extremely crazy posability, as you can see from, you know, watching other people. But I, you know, just the availability to, you know, go for like a two-armed sword swing or something like that is a lot better for me. So I took the bare arms pack from Articulated Icons and slapped them into a torso from the Skeleton Legion Builder from the 2.0 male, and then I went ahead with a Lord Adon right shoulder, as well as a Templar Legion Builder left. So that combination of the smaller shoulder pauldron mixed with like the 1.0 shoulder pauldron, it really reminded me kind of that like Blizzard or almost like comic booky type design. So it just made sense to me, you know, offhanded weapon arm is a little bit lighter on the armor, and then big shoulder pauldron for, you know, your shield arm, or what would be your shield arm if you were to use it. So after that, we went ahead and took pieces for the fur, as well as the little tabard are going to be like a 10-inch Destiny Lord Saladin. So I went ahead and just kind of clipped it where I could, made it look nice through the little bandolier thing that comes with every Mythic Legions over the side. Made it look nice, and then a Nazgul blade. What I had done with the whole belt line was the normal Mythic Legions belts actually come with some belts are a little bit larger, some are smaller, so I had taken a larger belt, took the Lord of the Rings belt, wrapped it around it, like kind of glued it in place, and then it's alright. It works for me. It was kind of rudimentary. One of the first things that I had done with the Mythic Legions line, and then I had done some other things with them later that I will show you guys, but the Nazgul blade, Lord of the Rings, Toy Biz, over 10, almost 20 years old at this point. And then for the single side, I am using the Articulated Icons wrap, which in a couple of the pictures on Instagram you'll see him wearing these, which I've noticed the articulation factor kind of dumbs down, at least with this arm. Could just be due to the production itself, but does come with alternative hands to give it more gesturing styles, make it easier for him to pull back a bow, make it look more natural, just different things. So I found that pretty good as well. I like to incorporate my I guess like outsourced like Figma, like all of those different figures have multiple hand sets, and I got kind of addicted to that for a while, so I really dig that as well. So I just took a spear. I'll just pop the hand off, make it super easy. So took a spear, kind of snapped it off here at the end, so it'll be just about the size as the character instead of being super long. If you guys are used to the Mythic Legions line, you'll know the spears are like super ridiculous long. So I went ahead and, you know, made it sizable, popped that in, and then the sword, kind of rough, made it look I'll patina it out, some Nuln Oil, some Agrat's Earthshade, and then brighten it up here in the corners. Like I said, this is one of my very first customs for Mythic Legions. That I would say I put a lot of effort into, but I went ahead and finally I took, of course, it's mostly a mixture of Lord Adon's gear remaining from another custom that I had done, and I wanted to get a little bit more, I don't know, I wanted to experiment as best as I could and force as much articulation into a Mythic Legion's figure without getting rid of too much or adding too much. So I figured this fits the line really well. I really like the Xylona's flock lore. So the character beyond this, a lot of speculation went into this, but I was, you know, pre-ordering a lot of the Orc Legion builders and whatnot for the Aerithir's War or what have you was the Kickstarter campaign for their video game. And I was getting super lost in just staring at some of the pictures for some of the figures, and I just imagined, I don't know, the Queen Elf or the High Elf Lord or whatnot, somebody on the, you know, the good team. Xylona's flock is a, you know, moral faction, I guess. Yeah, losing my words at that point, but it's a morally righteous like portion in the faction's theme. So I was thinking I really like moral ambiguity, so having these really righteous elves doing something not so righteous in the name of good. So I imagine kind of these characters, or the 5 characters based around that being the case. So all of these highly trained elf warriors being bound to undeath through a Faerie and continually brought back to fight in, you know, good nature. So the faction that's directly opposed to undeath and vampirism and etc. is using, in their own terms, undeath to, you know, kill and maim and slay. So I just really liked that idea and super ran with it. And to top it all off and lead it back to what I felt was really like Silverhorn-esque, I went ahead with a female barbarian legion builder head and threw in some Elysian green just to tie it back, and topped off some of the studs with some silver, made it look nice, and came back and made my undead elf. So I really dig it. Like I said, when it came to me getting into the Mythic Legions line, I was really just trying to make a character that represented, I mean, someone my stature, someone my, I guess, archetype. And I just super ran with it. I'm a big fan of the Mythic Legions line, and you guys are going to see a lot more coming from me here in the future. So, you know, comment, like, let me know what's going on, as well as hitting me up on my Instagram page is where I got a lot more activity at this point. I moved, got a lot less space for me to record and for it to actually be usable. A lot of the sound is kind of choppy, so I appreciate you guys once again. Stay safe, stay healthy in these crazy times, and we'll talk soon.